Today we're covering overthinking and how to overcome overthinking. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Okay.
So the issue with overthinking is it changes the way you see and experience things. So it prevents you from making the correct decision by clouding your judgment and stops you from being present in the moment and keeps you from enjoying life fully because you're always thinking about what could happen in the future or you're thinking about the past. So you aren't really living in the moment, which doesn't let you fully enjoy whatever is happening right now. Most scenarios that we face have no harm or danger, but our thoughts and the way we think about the situation creates fake scenarios and fake danger. Like 9 times out of 10, the issues that are caused by our thoughts, not by actual real danger that's actually happening. For
Mhm.
example, you know those glass bridges that are super high up?
Yeah.
Like a lot of people are scared to cross that stuff, right? Because they think like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm gonna fall down, I'm gonna fall through, or think the glass gonna crack.
hmm
But those bridges have to go through like a bunch of testing. Like their designers and the architects have to carefully design and select like the correct materials. So the risk of it breaking is like very minimal. Like perfectly safe to cross, but people overthink and they think they'll fall. And so when they get on it, their legs start to shake and they can't walk normally when there's actually nothing happening. I think it's even the same like like walking a plank, right?
hmm
Like people can walk a plank that's on the ground, but they can't walk it if you lift it up like 5 meters in the air.
Yeah. I don't think I
Like the
can.
same plank. It's like it's overthinking.
It's overthinking and also like being scared to, you know, not die. Try
Yeah.
and not die.
But I mean, even if you go like when you're up at on an escalator or like you're looking down something you just
hmm
feel like, oh, I'm gonna fall through it or I'm gonna fall over it. But
Yeah.
it's just you overthinking.
hmm
Have you felt like that?
Yeah. I think it happens a lot because for me, I am a huge overthinker, and especially like in work, for example, I might have a task I need to do, and I have to um, collaborate with other departments, and then sometimes I feel like they aren't very responsive. So then it would make me overthink. I might think stuff like, oh, um, does this person not like me? Does that person want to work with me? And stuff like that. And then eventually that would build up in my head. But the reality could be different. Like that person might just be busy. And I would spend so much time struggling and battling with myself to say, oh, should I reach out to that person or not? And then it would just drain all my energy. Whereas in reality, it could have been done if I just picked up the phone and just called that person. And usually, the issue isn't really an issue. And you were talking about overthinking when you play football?
Yeah, because like I think everyone who plays sports experiences these kind of things. Like for example, when you're not in like a high pressure situation, when you're not playing a match, when you're just with friends,
hmm
like all the simple passes, 5 meter passes, 10 meter passes, like you just do it without thinking.
Yeah.
But for some reason, once you get into a match scenario or a scenario when there's pressure, you like forget how to do everything because
hmm
usually you're thinking about all the wrong things. Could be thinking about, um, oh, what if I mess up? And if I mess up, what's gonna happen? My teammates are gonna yell at me, and
Yeah.
then oh, my coaches will yell at me, and then if I mess up, I'm gonna look like I can't play football, and it's all overthinking, which has nothing to do with what's actually happening. Like, why can you perform that pass when no one is watching, when there's no pressure, but you can't do it when there is pressure?
What do you think the top athletes do to overcome this?
I think, I mean, there's a lot of factors to it, but they've practiced it so much to the point where they don't really need to think about these little things.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm sure they struggle with like confidence and overthinking too, but they
Yeah.
probably just practiced it like 20, 30,000 times more than everyone else.
hmm
So they're able to like bounce back. And those guys who are the top athletes, they all have like elite mentality, right?
hmm
So they already know what they're doing. Like they know how to bounce back from mistakes. They know how to like avoid pressure.
Yeah.
They know what to do in pressurized situations.
I feel like that can be applied to us, like normal people as well. For most of the overthinking that happens are for things that we aren't super practiced. Like, for example, communicating with someone at a higher position. You don't have the opportunity to do that every single day. So when the time comes where you have to step up and actually do it, and that's when you start to overthink, like, oh, I'm going to be nervous talking to this person because he or she has a higher position than I am. So naturally, there is some sort of a power dynamic that is different than what
Yeah.
I'm normally used to. And hence, that's why I will be overthinking the things that I'm going to say, even though I know what I'm supposed to tell that person. But for things that we do on a daily basis, we don't even have to think about it, right? We just do it. And for some people who say that they are good at dating or something like that, they've done it so many times to the point where it's just like brushing their teeth or walking. It's just more like an instinct.
Here's the thing, right? I just thought about this. Basically, anyone that overthinks is basically thinking too much and not like. All you have to do is just not think because, like you said, like anyone who's good at dating, they've done it so many times, right? And like
Yeah,
stuff that we're good at is because we've done it so many times. For example, like I don't know, what's something that we do without thinking?
reading.
Exactly, something as simple as reading, right? Or like reading something out loud, right?
Yeah,
If I ask you to read a book out loud in a room by yourself, I'm sure you can do that fine with like
yeah,
no issues, right? But like if I tell you to read that book out loud in front of 10,000 people, it's not going to be the same task for you, is it?
yeah.
You're going to like make mistakes. You're going to say the wrong words. You're going
Hmm.
to what? Your voice is going to shake. And it's all because of what? Because you're thinking too much when you should be like trusting yourself. What are you thinking at that time? You're probably thinking like of the future, like, oh, if I mess up, this and this will happen. Or you're thinking of the past, like last time I did this, I messed up, so it's gonna happen again.
Hmm.
So in the end,
Yeah,
it's all caused by thinking of too much thinking.
yeah. Too much thinking, and
Yeah,
also riding on that point, most of our overthinking is we're afraid of how other people will react to what we say or what we do. But the reality is, when you're in a public situation, most people are too concentrated or too focused on themselves to even like notice your flaws. Because remember last week when we were filming the other video, we when we were looking back at the stuff we shot, we were all noticing the things that were wrong with ourselves, and only we can see it. And that's something that's really interesting because now that we have this knowledge, we're the harshest critic of ourselves, and that's another cause of overthinking.
that's why I said like when we film something, you gotta judge me and I gotta judge you. Like we
Yeah,
can't judge ourselves because how you see me is what other people will see me, and how I see you is how other people will see you.
yeah, and
But how we see
usually that is,
ourselves is not how other people see ourselves.
yeah, and usually when we see other people, we won't be focusing on the smallest details that we would only care about so much. Because like when I was looking at your video, I was like, oh, you look just like yourself, like in like when I see you in person. But then like when I looked at my footage, I'm like, oh my God, what's wrong with me? Like what do I really look like this? But yeah,
Yeah. I think it's just basically all boils down to overthinking, which is basically thinking too much
yeah, thinking
instead of
too much.
focusing. on the present moment.
Okay, so that's it for today. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up and comment down below if you have any suggestions for any future topics or anything you want to discuss. All right.